Hi, it's Linda with CreativePLR.com. So today we're looking at classroom signs that you can make as part of our back to school products that we can get ready. And classroom signs are going to sell all year round, but especially at back to school time, teachers are looking to decorate their room. When school's over at the end of every year, the bulletin boards, everything on the walls is taken down. The walls are cleaned, maybe painted, refreshed, and when we come back to school, you have to start putting all the bulletin boards, the signs up again, so everybody likes to start over fresh with something new. And so there's a lot of room for motivational signs here, different classroom signs. So you could do, one single sign, and think of this as similar to wall art. You could do one single sign, and you could do a whole bunch of them, separate, and then you could sell them as a set. So bundling is the key, in Etsy especially. You want to bundle. So I could sell one sign for, I don't know, $1.29.99, whatever it is, depending on how fancy it is. And then I could bundle 5 and sell them 5 for $6 or something, or 6 for $5. Whatever you can get for it. But bundling, you get the higher prices when you bundle. Now, this is a simple process, and I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but when you're doing any kind of wall art or signs and you want to use different fonts, you need to have different text boxes. For instance, that's a different text box. Okay. In this one, I've used this font. That's one text box. This is another one. This is another one. This is another one. And this is another one. The beauty of this is I can make this font and the size of this font a little bit larger, and I can make this one, even though they look like they're the same size, different size fonts. So I could bump this up just a hair. Gets 90. Okay. And I want it to look in proportion, so that working, maybe that's only at 66. Maybe that needs to go to, and you have to extend it out. And then I would also center that. And you can adjust them and play with the spacing. Not necessarily the spacing on how big they are, but the spacing between them. Because what happens is when you've got one large text box and you're putting it all in there, you're kind of stuck with one font sometimes, and you can't vary the spacing between the words as much as you would like. So I could make that closer, I could make that, spread that out, and I could pretty much distribute it, the spacing, any way I want to. So it makes it easier with multiple text boxes. And so to find these kinds of sayings, just Google them. Google motivational sayings for the classroom. You'll find a jillion of them, and they're not copyrighted. No, we don't know who said them first. You can use different fonts if you want. You can make this colored. I don't think it has as much impact when it's colored, but that's just me. Let's see, font color, and I'll go to my red apple here. And maybe I wouldn't do that. Maybe if I'm going to make the red, maybe I want the mistakes to actually be highlighted there. And maybe I want to do that with the working. So you could kind of play with that. That's a design decision. You can kind of play with that and see. Another thing that you want to think about if you're going to use, I used this shape, this white shape, and then I used, if you go to shape format, the shape fill was white and I don't have an outline, but what I did was I did the shape effects and I used the soft edges, and you can, really make them kind of ragged looking. I like it. I think it gives a little bit different look to it, and it doesn't look quite so harsh. It almost looks like torn paper on the edges. So that's something that you can kind of experiment with and see how much you like it. You can go from a little bit to, all the way. Even all the way is not that bad. So I kind of like that. You can see if you like that. The background, I used paper that's, paper that I made that's educational. What I did was, I don't know that in every single saying I'm going to like this. If you're going to bundle, you want complementary papers. What I did was I put them in the Slide Master so that I can go and I can decide, maybe I like that better. Maybe that looks like more fun. Kindness is a gift everyone can afford to give. Maybe this one is not, let's see, my layout. Maybe I want to use, is that the green one? I have different colors of these. Oh, maybe I don't. There's that one. I don't know if that's interesting enough for such a big border, but what I could do is I could then adjust this, make all the words bigger. Okay, so you could do this in complementary colors, complementary designs, or you could just make them, individual. There's no set rule on this, and signs are something teachers all need. Not only motivational signs. See, once you start, tinkering with it, it just never ends. Motivational signs, directional signs. Please raise your hand for help. Please wait to be called on. I used to have one in my room that says C3, the letter C, the number 3, B, the number 4, and then the word me. C3 before me. In other words, you would see either three other people, you would check 3 resources, check the book, check your notes, check signs, check with another person before you ask the teacher. Otherwise, some kids need constant attention. They'd be asking, I'd have one kid asking me the whole period for help. And so, that gets them used to working with other people and, checking their notes, being independent. So, I think classroom signs are a great idea. The same thing kind of works for wall art. And so in another video, at some point I'm going to talk about wall art. I think it's next week. And I'll be showing you some other ideas for wall art. If you think this looks a little plain, then we can insert some clip art. I don't know if I have any red clip art. Oh man, I do. It's probably too big. But the nice thing about clip art, you can shrink that down. Let's do another one. Insert and that one. Okay, and then I would save this. You can either save this as a PDF. If I'm going to sell it on Etsy, I would save it as a PDF. I'd also save it as a PNG. Make sure that when you're doing that, well, this is easy because you're saving it as a whole page. You would say save as, and you would say either a JPEG, I like a PNG, and then you would click on it and it would ask you, and you'd say just this one. Okay. Now, if you're doing you've got a whole bunch in the presentation, and you're doing like 12 or 15 signs, then obviously you'd save them all. And I kind of love that. I don't know that I would use the red though. See, you start messing with it, see it happens. So I might go back and try that one. Makes that bus and that schoolhouse really pop. Okay, I hope you are going to start making some signs. Get ready for back to school. Talk to you soon.